Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be covering 5 pieces of tech that you need to know to improve your Brawlhalla skills, right? All the pros will use these tech like consistently, right? And knowing them is just very, very beneficial. Before I get into it though, I'm trying to hit 25k, right? By my birthday, which is about mid-June, right? And that's a really high goal, and I'm going to need your guys' help to get to it. So make sure to sub if you learn anything or if you're new. And yeah, quality content all the time, daily uploads. So number one, right, is I'm not sure what it is called because I've just been doing it for years now, but you see how you can't side dodge. You can't side dodge, it's a dash, right, on stage, on the floor. But if you dash and then spot dodge, you can get momentum in your dodge, and you can dodge through someone's attack, right? Now this is very important. When you're approaching people, you can use it to approach, like, say, more safely than just running in. And it kind of gives you a little mix-up, because instead of doing this, which is very, you don't go anywhere, you can do this. And you are immune while moving on the floor, and it's a very good piece of tech. And the way you do it is you dash, right? Which is just a foot, like a dodge on the ground. And then you just press it, right? Without pressing any movement keys. Or you can press up, right? No, you can't press up, actually, because it might make you jump if you have the controls, or it will just make you dash if you have a different set. So you have to let go of all keys, right? And dodge, and then yeah, you get a little momentum, a little momentum in your dodge. That is number one. Number two, right? It's X pivoting. You see how my character is kind of boinging side to side right now as I'm doing my moves, and that's called X pivoting. You see, this is going to be very important with your controls. First of all, always have this off. Pick up with light attack has to be off just all the time anyway. But if you go into your controls, right? Prioritize neutral over side. Being ticked does help, but the biggest thing, the most important thing, right, is jump and aim up being separate keys, right? See, mine's up and space. You can't have this bound if you want to do this, like with any ease. And if you have it, all you do, right, is I'll show you the input. So I input a dash jump forward straight away, and then I hold up and the opposite direction and press my attack key, and you see it turns my character around and then moves me side to side. It's pretty easy. You can do it with a few moves, right? If a move doesn't have X pivot properties, you'll see how I'm just reversing it here, which can also be extremely useful. But if it does, then you'll see me bouncing. You can do it downwards if you delay it a bit, right? So with both of the weapons, and it just carries momentum in the opposite direction. And this is one of the good, like, if you're especially blasters players, right, is going to be used all the time. It can be used on the floor as well. Just dash one way and attack the other way, but isn't kind of as effective to carry momentum over. But these two things are these first two pieces of text are very useful all the time, right? And you'll see pros doing it on weapons like Scythe, right? This is actually like jump reverse now is actually like a good option, right? If someone's above you, you can do that. And the same thing with Dare, right? You can't X pivot, but the reversing is good. You see how you can reverse right there? See, I'm not X pivoting, but reversing in general is very important. And I'm doing this by holding down the entire time. I'm dashing and then holding the other direction. See, I'm dashing and then switching it to the other direction. And that gives me this effect. See, those things, those two things are the most important of this entire video, because you'll use them multiple times in the game. Like a good few times. Now this is for a platform app. This is called ledge cancelling, right? So most people will jump on a platform like this. Like a new player will just jump, but a good player can do that. You see, that's a lot quicker, and I'm still not mastered it yet. But when you get good at it, you can use your dash to stick to the platform. And how you do this, right, is you have to time it perfectly, and that's why how you see I'm getting it wrong, or your dodge. But if you time it right, then you can dash onto the platform instead of just, jumping. That is a lot slower than this. Oh, there we go. And what it leads to is you being able to do cool, like, movement tech just around the entire map, right? And very, very useful for moving in general. And if you have no dodge, right? If you have no dodge, you can just mash it and you'll stick to the platform straight away, right? If you have no dodge, you can just mash it and it will always make you stick to the platform, but you don't want to... you want to learn the timing. So what it is it's pressing dodge in a direction when your character is at a certain height. See, that was too high, and then this will be too low. But when your character gets to the height, you have to dash. And then bang, you cancel. And then you can cancel it into a move, you see. I've gone from air to ground move straight away. And it can be difficult input, but this one, you'll see a lot of pros when they get a kill. They'll just like do this little piece of dashing off the platform and on it over and over again. And this is a really useful piece of tech. So if you dash away from a platform and then you back dash and you've already left it, you see how I drop through the platform and I go backwards. Now this can be useful for things like attacking like that, or maybe daring. Wait, here we go. I'm gonna attempt it. Instead of delighting, you can dare off the platform. And what this leads to is just more options, and that's what you want, right? You see, instead of just dropping down and saring him right here, I could go through the platform and sare him like this. And the more options you have, the better. And there's no reason not to learn something like this, as it can be very useful. I didn't know about this until I was like diamond, right? Until I was like 2200 diamond player. And then now it's taken me quite a while to learn it, and other players are a lot better at it than me. I get it about half the time I want to do it. But dashing off the platform, I learned quite early because I played Scythe and it was a kind of a flashy thing you could do. And yeah, you can chain it into an X pivot, as you can see. And yeah, that is another piece of very, very useful tech. Now this one is going to be a kind of, just kind of one that most people know, but dash jump fast falling, right? Obviously makes you move like this. But if you didn't know, dash jump fast falling is faster than running. Like dash jumping is faster than running. And getting around the stage quick is important. And having a tech like fast and just straight up running is like very important. So if you get your dash jump fast falls down, as you can see, I can go quite low. And what you can do is, if you learn this, dash jump fast fall moves can be very good. You can like instantly go from grounded to aerial attack on the floor, right? Before kind of it's reactable. And on some weapons, it's very, very strong. For example, it's even blasters, right? Dash jump fast fall Sare is very strong. Same with dash jump fast fall Nair if they are above you, right? And if you get really tacky, you can dash jump fast fall reverse. And again, this is just like another option, right? This is like very niche tech, but it can be good, especially on weapons where you have a move with kind of a back hitbox. But off the top of my mind, Lance is the only one that kind of comes to mind. You can dash jump fast fall reverse in there. And it will, you see the back of that nail will kind of give you a little force field late. And it can be just quite useful. And this is very niche tech right here. And you might not use it every game, unless you like want to be flashy. But learning it, there's no like reason not to learn it. But the dash jumping is very necessary, right? It looks a lot better. Oh yeah, and the dash jump fast fall Sare, right? On a weapon like Lance is very strong. Because the coverage, like this coverage versus like this or this or this, is a lot more. And it's also a mix-up. You can do dare. You can do dash jump fast fall Nair. You see, having more options on the ground, you've gone from having these 3 when someone's in front of you, to now you have these like 6 when someone's near you. And they are very important. And the last thing is reversing your ground pound to get to stop earlier, right? So on a lot of weapons, we'll go to Scythe, because Scythe is the big offender of something like this, right? On a lot of weapons, you carry a momentum through your ground pound. See that? Like, I carry it for a very long time, and it's slower. But what you can do is, if you reverse, your momentum stops almost instantly. Because this is a lot quicker than this. Oh. And so it becomes very, very important that you reverse it. And this is one of... Reversing moves in general is a very important piece of that. And it's very useful. So if you learn to reverse this, again, it's the same thing. You just dash jump one direction, hold the opposite direction, and ground pound, right? And it leads to like very, especially on Scythe, but even on something like blasters, right? Okay. Blast isn't a good example, but that, and then you kind of stop your momentum the same. But on a lot of weapons, if you reverse it, you stop your momentum earlier. Like even a weapon like sword, right? Which looks like the ground pound is pretty kind of linear, right? If you do that, that's cool. But if you reverse it, you can get like an earlier stop. And it kind of changes the hitbox a bit as well, depending on where you ground pound to, depending on which way you're facing. And even on bow, see, it's useful on almost all the weapons, right? Because of you can get a little bit of an X pivot. You see how I go out and a bit in on bow? Whereas if I didn't reverse it, you just do that. And the difference is that is a lot wider than this, even though they're the same input. And yeah, and the last thing is very unique, is slide charging. If you do a sig off stage, right, you can slide with it and charge it and let go when you want, and that can lead some really cool kills, especially on certain characters, right? Like Koji can do all his sig slide charge almost, like, and it leads to some things that like you didn't think were possible, hitting people where they don't think they can be hit. And if you reverse it, like everything, you can hit people who are on this wall maybe, or camping the wall. But yeah, those are some important pieces of tech. And one that I didn't cover, but I'm just going to do now because I thought that some people forget, is grav cancelling. If you just spot dodge and then throw an attack, you can do a grounded attack in the air, and you get a little platform underneath you, and it's a grav cancel. You see how this is a grounded move, but I'm doing it in the air, right? That is what happens when you just do a spot dodge, right? And then you input, so a dodge and node action, and then you input whatever move you want to do. It can be quite hard for new players, but when you get kind of used to the timing, you can gravity cancel any move kind of for free. Anyway, I covered a bit more than 5 pieces of tech because I realized halfway through that some people won't know these things or be very new. And if you are very new, I've got some great guides on my channel, right? There'll probably be a playlist in the at the end of this video coming on your screen now of my Brawlhalla guides, and yeah, there's a few really good ones, including my video on how to pick a main. I would make sure to check that one out because picking a main when you're new is very difficult. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Please subscribe, and yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. See ya.